Welcome to CyberChat. Ipagpapatuloy po natin ang ating talakayan tungkol sa threats and thrills of online gaming. We shall continue from our episode last week. Play or pray?
Yes, ituloy natin yung online gaming topic. Napakahalagang pag-usapan ito dahil hindi natin namamalayan ang karamihan ng mga kabataan, including young adults, yuppies and adults are into online gaming.
Kaya nga, based on the 2019 Hootsuite statistics na pinakita natin last episode, 76 million Filipinos are active internet users. And 32% o mahigit 24 million play games streamed online. And 42% naman o 32 million Filipinos watch other people play games online.
Good thing, binalikan mo yan, partner. Gusto natin mas mabigyan pansin ng ating mga viewers that online gaming is getting to be a major preoccupation of the population. Kaya mabuting tingnan din natin paano ito nakakaapekto sa mga kabataan or mga online gamers.
Correct ka dyan, partner. Yeah, let's continue with your conversation with our next guest.
Ano na lang ngayon? Ako na lang lagi. Panay ano ka na lang dyan. Panay ML ang ML. Wala nang ginagawa kundi ML. Dapat di ka na binibilan ng cellphone. Wala na kayong ako na lahat. Wala na kayo natin pag hindi maglaro dyan sa cellphone nyo.
Our next guest is a social development professional who has been doing training and advocacy work on child protection for over 15 years. He is currently the Senior Advocacy Officer of Stairway Foundation Incorporated and is credited for developing Stairway's online safety program, generally recognized as the pioneering and leading effort in the field of online safety for children in the Philippines, as well as in Southeast Asia. A community development graduate from UP Diliman, I'm very pleased to welcome you here on CyberChat, Mr. Israel Deloy. Ace, welcome to CyberChat.
Thanks, Alan, and thank you for inviting me to CyberChat.
Yeah, we are very pleased to have you here in our episode. Ace, bago tayo magkwentuhan, can you please give us a brief background of Stairway Foundation at yung ginagawa mo as Senior Advocacy Officer?
Yes, so Stairway Foundation is a non-government organization, and we are based here in the Philippines. We've been operating for over 30 years already, and our main focus is on the promotion and protection of children's rights. Our area of specialization is on child protection, specifically child sexual abuse prevention. So as a senior advocacy officer, I'm tasked to provide technical assistance to government and non-government partners, provide policy lobbying initiatives for the organization, and develop social technologies to address existing and emerging child protection issues in the country and in other countries that we operate in.
That's great. That's a big job. Huh?
Yeah, it's quite a challenging job.
Yeah, challenging job. Yeah. Anyway, earlier we heard our first guest talk about his personal experience as an online gamer and how he eventually got into gaming addiction and overcame it. We both know that this online gaming, which seemingly looks like a haven, a venue for fun and relaxation for kids and adults, has threats and dangers that our viewers should know. Ace, can you please share with us specific stories of children who have encountered various threats while they're playing online? Meron po ba?
Yeah, sure. So, just stepping back, with Stairway Foundation, we've been working on the issue of cyber safety since 2007, and all throughout those years, we've talked to thousands of children with regards to their experiences online. And it's a good topic to talk about, the gaming topic, because yung gaming sa Philippine setting has really evolved since we've started working on this issue in 2007. I remember in 2007, ang uso pa noon yung mga LAN games sa computer shop, yung local area network games or kaya online games na naka-base ka lang sa computer shop like yung Counter-Strike, Dota, Battle Realms, etc. Pero as the years went by, nagpo-progress, nag-evolve yung technology, and now we're looking at mobile gaming as the main platform now for gaming amongst children and youth. There are different kinds of threats and harms that children encounter online right now in vis-a-vis gaming. So we can actually categorize it into three main kinds of risks and harms. So the first one would focus on content risks. So when we talk about content, ito yung mga content or media na nakikita ng mga bata online. So in the context of games, sa mga bata na kausap namin, most often ang na-receive nila na inappropriate or harmful content ay minsan may mga nagsisend ng sexualized images. Kasi ngayon yung mga games may chat functions, may chat, no? So sometimes children receive sexualized text conversations, or if the person chatting with the child via games takes them to another platform for messaging, doon na nakakapagpadala ng mga inappropriate images or conversations. The second category, I would say, in terms of harms and risks that children face in gaming, is in terms of contact. So content talks about the media. Contact talks about who the children interact with. So like any other platform where there is chat features, gaming is risky in terms of children potentially encountering online predators. Although in the Philippine setting, hindi ganong kataas yung instances of online predators grooming children via games, but globally, we see examples of children being groomed online via games. Even games as simple as, for example, Minecraft, we have documented instances globally wherein the platform is being used by online predators or child sex offenders to contact children.
So bale, Asa, bale yung online gaming platform that is now being used by the predators to contact the users, the children who are using that platform, so that they can send explicit sexual videos or text or chat. So yun ang ginagawa nila.
Basically. So
yeah.
that's the first. It's an initial point of contact.
Correct.
Kasi sa chat naman sa games, there are certain features which are missing. For example, sending pictures. So what predators do is do initial contact, establish trust, and then invite the child to another platform for messaging.
Yes. Yeah, please continue.
So the third one, so we've talked about content, then we've talked about contact. The third one would be called conduct risks. So conduct talks about the behavior of the child, him or herself, which might be inappropriate to other children or harmful to him or herself. So I guess your first guest talked about a conduct risk, and that is gaming addiction. So all in all, tatlo yung risk, no? Content, contact, and conduct. Nag-i-interface lahat yan sa gaming ng mga bata.
So have you engage or may nag-complain na ba na mga bata sa inyo, or may dumulog na ba sa inyong tanggapan na para humingi ng assistance or with regard dito sa gaming na ito na ginamit as the point of contact?
Unfortunately, hindi siya ganong, well, I would say unfortunately and fortunately. Hindi siya hindi ganong karampan talaga sa Pilipinas yung paggamit ng gaming platform as a means to groom or sexually abuse and exploit children. I guess it's because yung mga predators na nagta-target ng mga bata sa Pilipinas, alam nila na mas accessible yung mga bata sa iba pang platforms tulad ng social media. So games in itself is not as crucial in terms of sexual abuse and exploitation, but it is a realistic threat in terms of potential abuse and exploitation online.
Tama yan, Ace. I agree with you because just last month, may humingi ng tulong sa amin sa Cyber Guardians regarding the use of Mobile Legend as the point of contact. Although hindi na to bata, 18 na eh. So it's not anymore considered as a child or children. But humingi ng tulong sa amin yung bata taga Naga City that yun ang ginamit to harass her. To ano ba yung ang ginawa ng hacker is kinuha yung account niya sa social media. Ang point of contact is yung Mobile Legend and next Facebook. Hinak yung Facebook niya and kinuha yung kanyang mga videos, explicit videos, and then nilabas. So it's more on the extortion side na. But exactly. Yes, I agree with you that dapat talaga ay mapangaralan natin yung mga kabataan na hindi sila mabiktima online ng mga predators na to.
And I guess that brings us to the point na if games in the Philippines is not as crucial in terms of potentially the main platform for sexual abuse and exploitation, kailangan pa rin nga ng protective behavior education ng mga bata kasi eventually, if it serves as an initial point of contact at dadalhin ng offender palabas ng gaming platform at pupunta sa social media, for example, for communication, kailangan alam ng bata ano yung mga red flags at ano yung mga response mechanism niya dapat. Like what you've said in your example.
Nagpasalamat din tayo at wala pang ganyang kaso sa Pilipinas, but sana ang ating law enforcement authorities ay handa para matrace yan. Siguro kasi ang kulang kasi sa tingin ko ay yung reporting eh. So, of course, yung mga bata ay baka hindi sila nag-report kaya wala tayong statistika na ganyan. But kailangan nating maipaliwanag sa mga kabataan na huwag sila matakot mag-report. Kung merong mga nangyayaring ganyan sa kanila. Okay?
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you, Ace. So, kanina, we saw some videos of teens and young professionals enjoying and having fun sa mga online games. Sinasabi nga nila, hindi lang daw fun and thrill ang nakukuha sa online gaming. They have also become smarter and wittier because of these online games. Itong sinasabi mo, Ace, ay ang opposite side naman, ano? Due to rampant cyberbullying and trash talking while playing, online games promotes culture of rudeness and violence among the players, which they carry outside. So, how do you think this can be avoided?
Yes. Maybe let's try to step back and try to decipher yung konsepto ng culture of rudeness and cyberbullying as brought about by gaming. From an adult point of view, it's easy to say that it's black and white. It's either mabait ka or makulit ka sa online gaming, bully ka. Pero so that was our initial, during our early years of working on this issue, early 2007, 8, 9. That was also our impression as adults. Pero when we were doing online safety sessions, we were always telling children and giving them messages na, okay, wag makikipag-bully, wag magiging bully sa gaming, wag makipag-trash talkan, etc. So children would nod and say, okay po, sige po, we'll do that. But later on, we find out na ginagawa pa rin nila. So we were really perplexed what was happening. So we only realized that we really had to understand and study more this phenomena. And so we talked to children about it, their own gaming culture, and it seems that there are layers when it comes to the gaming culture of children. What we adults perceive as trash talk might not really be trash talk among children. It might be normalized culture for them. But it's not saying it's correct, no? We just have to understand the nuances. So, ito yan, no? So we have to, as adults, differentiate what is trash talkan, quote unquote, between friends, and what is trash talkan amongst people in the gaming community na hindi magkakilala, because there are nuances to that. Right. So establishing that not all quote unquote trash talk are harmful, because sometimes it's just teasing among friends. we still have to build up children's protective behavior. So here are some things that I would say for us adults, what we can do in order to better help children develop this culture of peace, this
Yes.
culture of kindness towards one another. So first one, trash talking, or let's call it bullying na lang, cyberbullying, no? Because it also happens in gaming, cyberbullying. So number one is cyberbullying is a cycle of violence. Children who cyberbully don't do it just because they want to. It's because of a prior experience. It's because of exposure to what adults do. It's because of adults maybe not providing enough guidance to children. So we have to move our mindset from looking at cyberbullies. When I'm talking about cyberbullies, I'm talking about children to children, okay? We must look at cyberbullies not only from the point of view of looking at them as merely offenders, but looking at them also as victims. So there should be intervention both for the cyberbully and the cyberbullying victim. So that's one. And because it's a cycle of violence, we should try to really eliminate the culture of violence in all spheres of children's lives. For example, ang isang bata sa isang household na laging nakaka-receive ng corporal punishment, lalaki siya na ang alam niya na solusyon sa isang problema ay violence. At dahil ang violence ay factor ng power, yung parent ay mas makapangyarihan sa bata, kaya nakaka-receive ng corporal punishment yung bata. Pag yung bata ay nakaranas na isang problema, ang alam niyang solusyon ay violence. So, sa konteksto ng cyberbullying, yung isang bata na naka-enkwentro ng problema sa isa pang bata, ang alam lang niyang resort ay violence, ergo cyberbullying. So it has to be a systems approach. We should eliminate violence in all spheres of children's lives. Number two.
Tama yan.
Yes.
So actually, it's about setting the norms, ano? Kasi
Yes.
dapat merong norms on cyberspace, eh. Norms
Yes, exactly.
on mobile gaming or online gaming, di ba? So I think magandang ginagawa ng Stairway Foundation, no? is to really set the norms dun sa mga bata na interview niyo, no? Kung ano ba talaga yung dapat intindihin natin kung ano yung mga lingwahe ng kabataan online, eh. Kasi nung bata pa ako, naglalaro din kami ng Counter-Strike, Dota. Wala pang Dota noon, wala pa.
Counter-Strike, yes.
Counter-Strike, oh. So,
And Alan, I guess you remember how you talked during the Counter-Strike games, di ba?
Oh, ibang ano. So ngayon, as I look back, ano, na-realize ko na dapat pala may norm setting tayo.
Yes.
Para naman, if we go out of our virtual environment, alam na natin kung ano yung respeto sa labas naman. Kasi kung ibang environment ng iba, nakausap natin, ibang norms nila, yung nga. So, magugulat sila. So, trash talking na para sa kanila yun.
And Alan, you really bring up a good point in terms of establishing norms, because of course what we want is behavioral change, right? Because whatever knowledge you give to children, if it doesn't affect behavior, it's not really amounting to something. So establishing norms is very important, like what you mentioned. And norms, they come from reference groups. The concept of a reference group is that children look up to mirror behavior from other groups of people. So tatlo ngayon ang main reference group ng mga bata. The first reference group are parents.
Yeah.
The second reference group are peers. The third reference group are media personalities. I don't know how we would look at it, pero fortunately, yun yung reality. So malaki yung impact ng reference group na parents and peers. Kaya lang, kung iisipin natin, kung peers yung isang reference group ng mga anak natin, ang tanong, paano pinapalaki ng parents, ng peers ng mga anak natin, yung mga anak nila? So really, it has to snowball into this culture of pace.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I think digital parenting is very, very important right now.
Yes.
Cyber Guardians has one of these programs as well, which we also develop. And kailangan nating turuan yung ating mga kabataan online.
Great. Next point, children's empathy. is very important. The concept of empathy. Um, the digital world is geared towards instant gratification, and because it's via devices, most of the time it's very impersonal. Mahirap basahin yung emotion mula sa isang message, pero na lang kung lalagyan mo ng emoji, at sometimes yung paglalagay ng emoji, hindi mo pa rin madidiscern yung pakiramdam nung nagta-type message at pakiramdam ng receiver. So empathy should be developed not only for the online world, but empathy as the human being. So it cuts across whatever domain of life the child is existing in. So ito yung isang conversation na importanteng gawin ng mga parents, yung konsepto ng empathy at paano i-mirror yung empathy sa araw-araw na pamumuhay nila sa bahay, sa pamilya. Yes, the third point I want to raise is, of course, the knowledge side. No, so what's interesting in our work with the children is that most of the time, children don't realize that what they're experiencing is already cyberbullying. They have warning signs. They feel emotionally na, teka lang, parang hindi okay yung ginawa sa akin. Pero because it is a normalized culture, hindi na nila sinasabi na cyberbully ako. So knowledge is also important so that we provide children exact indicators. When is it cyberbullying already? Kasi ano siya pag peers yung kausap ng bata, minsan mahirap i-discern kung kailan na cyberbullying at kailan normal teasing lang. So we have to give certain indicators. So for example, one indicator we would give children is that you have to listen to your emotions. Whether it's teasing amongst friends online, but if you are emotionally hurt, then you have the right to say that that is not okay. That is bullying or cyberbullying. So we have to provide children the exact tools. At hindi siya na-develop ng natural. Kasi these are learned concepts na kailangan may pagmumulan. And kanino magmumula? Usually, either peer-to-peer or adults-to-peer. Adults to children, sorry.
Yeah, correct. So itong story mo, Ace, can really be avoided through certain precautionary measures. Di ba? So
yeah, definitely.
Can you please cite some safety tips to protect children while playing online?
Great. So, if we are talking about children themselves, children themselves lang. Although in an ideal setting, bago dapat maglaro ng online games yung mga bata, kailangan may conversation yung parents with the child. And also parents should also look at the age appropriateness of the games. Pero we know for a fact, in reality, this really seldom happens kasi ang laki ng digital divide, no? So it's also a good idea to just empower the children muna while we are in parallel working with parents. So for children, number one, look at children should really explore the reporting features of the game platform that they are existing in or they are playing in, whether it's gaming or social media. So they should be familiar with the reporting and safety features of these platforms. With the shift towards cyber safety globally, yung mga tech companies, malaki yung pressure sa kanila na magkaroon ng mga safety features sa platform nila. So that's one. Number two, we have to understand the psychology of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying and bullying in general, the ones who do this thrive on reaction. They thrive on reaction and they thrive on attention. So one thing that we can teach children is to develop further their impulse control. So in layman's term, basically, paano mo papalakasin yung sarili mo para hindi ka matempt mag-reply o mag-retaliate doon sa cyberbully. Kasi pag nag-reply ka, it will escalate. Okay? At the end of the day, hahaba pa. Yeah. And lalo sa mga teenagers, napakahirap ng impulse control because the brain of teenagers are hardwired like that. Naka-hardwire sila pa taking behavior. At kasama doon yung mababang impulse control. I guess, Alan, you remember also as a teen before, di ba? Pag may gusto tayong gawin, talagang kung gusto kong gawin, gagawin ko kahit
Tama.
bawal. And that's a typical brain of the teen. So we as adults should help teens develop that sense of impulse control na kahit gusto ko na siyang gantihan via a reply, kailangan pigilan ko yung sarili ko kasi alam ko pag nireplyan ko siya, hindi to matatapos. And that's victory basically over a cyberbully. So that's number 2, impulse control. Then when you decide not to reply to the bully, that's the time that you have to do protective measures, such as number 1, of course, reporting the bully to the platform, because all features in gamings and social media have features in terms of reporting users who violate terms of services of the platform. And for, I guess, almost all of the platform, offensive and inappropriate interaction is not tolerated. So this is something that the child should be reporting on. And the next one is, of course, blocking. It's simple blocking, no? Pwedeng i-block ng bata. Pero here's the thing. When we talk to children, many of them actually do the reporting and the blocking, pero they stop there, which is kulang. Kasi we also have to recognize that any online violence has a socio-emotional component. Ibig sabihin, apektado yung emotion ng mga bata. So aside from blocking in the platform, children should also take that step of talking to a trusted adult. The trusted adult is someone who the child can access to and talk about his or her feelings about what happened. Talking to a trusted adult ensures that the child is processed emotionally, and the trusted adult is not required to be technically proficient doon sa gaming. Hindi naman babalikan ng adult yung gaming platform, but rather the concept of talking to a trusted adult is to ensure that the child can process his or her emotions after the incidents. And also think about what else to do kung mas malala pa yung nangyari. And that is accessing law enforcement, accessing social welfare, or other professional services.
Yes. Tama yung mga tips natin. Meron lang akong napansin eh. Yung mga bata kasi, normally, if sa tingin nila parang wala naman silang trusted na adult kung saan sila mag-report, ay wala na, nawawala na yung kaso eh. Kaya siguro marami tayong unrecorded na cases or na violence online against children na hindi talaga na-record ng law enforcement or any entity or organization na tumutulong sa mga ganyan. So I think, sa tingin mo ba, Ace, ito ay mga additional questions ko lang, sa tingin mo ba, kailangan ba nating hikayatin ng mga magulang na para talagang turuan ng kanilang mga anak na mag-report? Kung meron kayong, hindi lang sa amin, pati sa mga online na police natin dyan, pwede kayo mag-report sa kanila. No?
Oh, definitely, Alan. No? So, tama yung sinasabi mo, no? Na yung mga reported cases sa atin, minsan parang, so isipin mo, parang tip of the iceberg. Kasi mas marami yung unreported cases. Even doon sa, nami-mirror kasi niya yung trend sa offline abuse of children eh. So kung ano yung reporting trend sa offline, ganun din sa online. It's only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
At tama yung sinabi mo na in most cases, sometimes there is that absence of the trusted adult. It also goes back to the concept of parenting. How are we as adult parenting children? Kasi it's a cultural thing. Siguro, I don't know if this is a familiar scenario. Baka narinig mo na to sa ibang households no, na yung konsepto na yung bata pag nagsabi ng problema, instead na makareceive ng empathy, lalo pa nagagalit yung adults.
Inaaway.
Inaaway pa. Pinapagalitan, di ba? May problema na nga yung bata. And so, this culture has to change. Correct. Yung bata na nga yung nabiktima, siya pa yung sisisihin. So, think about that. Kung ganito yung existing culture, how can a child view a parent as a trusted adult and confide problems? So that's one. There has to be a certain parenting shift in terms of how adults parent children in terms of children seeking access. Tapos, dun sa point number 2 mo, enjoining children to access online helplines. Here's the thing, no? Unfortunately, also in the Philippines, we don't have a centralized helpline Uh, the helplines existing, for example, sa yung telephone lines ng law enforcement, it's not really as accessible to children because number one, it's not toll free. Uh, some helplines are toll free, pero it's really confusing sa dami ng helpline. So maganda sana kung mamimirror natin yung ibang bansa na may centralized helpline, ano, para madaling tumawag yung mga bata. And number two, it would be fantastic if we have an online helpline na kung saan pwede na lang pumunta mag-message yung mga bata. Not hosted only in social media because paano yung mga bata na hindi pa pwedeng gumamit ng social media below 13? Pero may access naman sa device. So that would be, I think, that would really help in really generating reporting in the Philippines. So making traditional telephone helplines really accessible and then setting up really accessible online reporting helplines. Aside from the parenting cultural shift that I was talking about.
Idagdag ko lang, Ace, dapat din yung sumasagot ay marunong din mag-handle ng ganitong kaso.
Yes, definitely. That is a very important component.
Actually, when I was with the government, the DICT, we established that helpline, centralized helpline. Well, I left last year, so baka I hope na they will continue that advocacy in the government. So
yeah, and especially sa pandemic ngayon, no, na kung saan with the shift in the DepEd intervention on how to deliver the learning modalities, wala nang papasok sa school. And before the pandemic, if a child gets abused, usually the first disclosure happens in school sa teacher. Hindi sa magulang ni-disclose, really sa teachers.
Mapapagod yung bata mag-report sa magulang, baka paluin.
So paano ngayon na wala nang physical access yung mga bata sa mga teachers nila?
Yes.
And majority of students will not do synchronous online learning. Majority will do modular home-based learning.
Exactly. Yeah.
So these are the challenges that we are really facing right now in terms of general child protection issues, both offline and online.
Yes, Ace. Thank you very much, Ace. This is very challenging, for the government and for the NGOs that are doing this job. We hope that the Stairway Foundation can likewise be a program partner for the Cyber Guardians in the future.
Yes,
Ace,
definitely.
can you give us your final message, please, for our viewers?
Yes, thank you very much, Alan, for this very meaningful conversation, I would say. I really enjoyed it. So for the viewers of CyberChat, general for gaming, if you are a parent, I would say the first and most crucial step that you can take as a parent right now is to have that trusting relationship with your child and open up a conversation for you as a parent, to try to understand why do your child enjoy gaming? Because once you share that culture, it's easier to connect to your child, and then your child will open up to you if he or she experiences something inappropriate or abusive online via gaming. For children, kung meron mga batang nanonood dito, intindihin nyo na lang na sometimes yung mga parents ninyo, hindi nila totally naintindihan yung online gaming culture nyo. So you also have to take steps to have your parents understand why you are enjoying your gaming. But at the same time, you also should not neglect your responsibilities at home. It should be really a balance. So give and take lang for you to further enjoy your gaming culture. If you would indulge me, Alan, I can also point out to some online resources for children and parents. So for online resources on cyber safety, they can go to www.cybersafe.asia. So we have a plethora of different learning and educational content there, videos, readings, even games, cyber safety games or e-learning courses are there hosted, and it's all for free usage. So I hope you can visit that website.
Thank you very much, Ace, from Stairway Foundation. Maraming salamat. To our viewers, please be reminded na yung mga sinabi ng ating speaker ngayon ay mahalaga yan sa buhay ninyo para hindi kayo mag-victim, ang mga anak ninyo hindi mag-victima ng cyberbullying or any violence online. Maraming salamat. We'll be right back.
We've all heard the thrills and threats of online gaming. It is really fun and exciting. It creates a sense of importance, achievement, and the community with people speaking the same language. But at the same time, online gaming exposes our children to these threats which we must not ignore, such as cyberbullying, trash talking, privacy breaches, online predators, sharing of inappropriate media contents, the dark web, online gaming addiction, among others. While it provides an avenue for social interaction, it also has a dark side. As a father with two sons who are both very well into online gaming, I have asked myself, what can I do as a parent to make sure that my children are not exposed to these forms of danger? I actually went beyond just talking and reminding them. I regularly played online games with them, not only to ensure accurate understanding and open communication, but more importantly, to strengthen my bond with them through shared experiences. Here are some online gaming tips which parents can regularly remind their children while playing online, so these dangers can be avoided. Number 1. Be careful with what they share online. Games are a great way to make friends online, but it is very important to remind them not to share information about themselves. They should be careful about sharing personal details like their full name, address, phone number, school, and other personal information. Why? The social nature of online gaming allows cybercriminals to manipulate conversations. They may single out your child in a general chat channel and then start sending personal messages. By piecing together data from games and other sources, hackers may be able to access the other existing accounts, such as social media, or establish new accounts, even entire digital identities in your child's name. Number 2, think about who they're playing with. Most online games are open to everyone. That means they could be playing with people younger or much older than themselves. These are also important reminders to your children. Report and mute anyone who's abusive, threatening, or who tries to bully them. Be careful of scams and do not accept gifts or offers that seem too good to be true. There can be times that people use games to ask children and young people to share sexual photos or nudes. People who do this might make them feel like they can trust them, ask them to keep things secret, or give them compliments or gifts. This is called grooming. Online predators are typically older gamers who use video games to lure and groom younger victims. This can lead to inappropriate messages, webcam chats, or even face-to-face meetings that could lead to sexual exploitation and abuse. Online gaming gives predators the chance to build a kind of shared online experience, in effect, becoming the child's defender, teammate, and ally. After defeating a top opponent or exploring a new level of a game, predators form a bond with younger gamers based on these common experiences and use this to venture into more personal territory. In many cases, predators seek to isolate children by splitting them from their parents and real-life friends by taking up the mantle of the only person who really understands them. Combating this problem means talk speaking to your children about online risks and monitoring their gameplay closely. Number 3, do not get used to trash talking. Trash talking is a language commonly used in online gaming environment. Online gamers say, this is just a form of teasing. But tell your children that in the real world, being disrespectful and rudeness are not acceptable. Therefore, they should not be used to it and avoid cursing. Number 4, lastly, but the most importantly, is set rules. Children like to play for as long as they can without stopping, I tell you, which could lead to uncontrollable hours of online gaming, resulting to neglect of themselves, their school, their friends, and even family. Online gaming addiction can be avoided with rules set as to when they can play, which should only be on weekends and after school assignments are completed. Limit hours of continuous playing. And lastly, give them other activities where they can get same level of excitement, like sports, music, or arts. Building a relationship with our children is very essential, so they would listen to us, parents, when we impose discipline and rules to avoid their overextended exposure to online gaming and the use of the internet. Apart from these tips, the following work for me. Know their online games. Play with them. And make sure they could open up with you when things do not go right while gaming. Have fun with your kids, but be safe online.
We had another full episode rich in lessons on how we can keep our children safe from threats in online gaming. Thank you to our guest, Mr. Peter Tan Chi Jr., a member of the Board of Elders at Christ Commission Fellowship, and Mr. Israel Deloy of Stereo Foundation, Incorporated, and of course to our fellow cyber guardian, Mr. Christian Ibasco, who shared earlier some internet safety tips.
Playing video games and online games is a social activity that is enjoyed by children and young adults alike. The risks arise when gaming thrills result in us losing control or when we freely share information to strangers. Peter shared with all of us earlier how online gaming creates an illusion of power, achievement, community, importance, resulting in social isolation, and worse, gaming addiction. We don't want our children to be trapped in a digital world of illusion. We want them to focus on the things that really matter: their education, their family, their moral, spiritual, and social relations. We want them to grow up to be responsible citizens, to be present in the moment, to live in the truth, and to acquire the life skills they need for a purpose-driven life.
Ang lahat ng sobra ay nakakasama. Being glued to your console or mobile or PC for hours to days to weeks definitely affects one's well-being. Ace, on the other hand, cited no specific causing case recorded in the Philippines, perpetrated by a gamer or pretending to be one, although this has happened in other countries. Based on their numerous studies covering thousands of respondents, online gaming platform has been a venue for sharing of sexual contents, cyberbullying, and trash talking. But such perceived rudeness could be adopted in the real world, where certain norms have to be conformed with. He advised parents to try to know the thrills their children get from online gaming to better understand them, and this way they build an open relationship with their children gamers. And for children to better understand their parents who do not know a thing about gaming and patiently share with them their thrills.
Indeed, parents play a crucial role in protecting their children from all of these threats. constant reminders on internet safety behavior, as shared with us by Christian, will go a long way in keeping them safe. Be aware of the online acquaintances they find in cyberspace.
Seeing as to how online gaming has made its way into our daily lives and knowing how serious the threats there are, we should be vigilant in protecting not only ourselves, but more importantly, our children. After all, the internet is not just fun and games, it's serious business.
Samahan niyo po kami sa susunod na episode ng CyberChat habang patuloy po nating hinahanap ang mga kasagutan sa mga suliraning ating hinaharap sa cyberspace.
Let's continue to fight online sexual abuse and exploitation of children, or cyberbullying, and other forms of online threats against our children and youth.
Be a cyber guardian.